So, quick introductions. This is the newest addition to my garage space. It's not new, it's just new to finally being fully functional. Got this DeWalt 8-inch. Here we go. You can see it maybe. There we go. 8-inch vise. Like for a while now, I had this thing for like 5 years. I've really never had a suitable mounting surface for it. Like, this was my first toolbox from Home Depot. I don't like it because when this lid is closed, it collects a lot of stuff. So that's why I keep it open, just to remind myself not to put stuff up there and to see if I want to get rid of it, or probably end up reorganizing it and put some stuff up here, but that's not the point. And then I got this toolbox right here. I like this one. Got these two little single drawers up here. And then all of these are like long drawers that gets progressively deeper. And then I upgraded to the Harbor Freight Icon. But I've never had a suitable mounting surface for my vise. Whenever I'm using my vise, I always like just use it on the ground. And then obviously, if you open up the jaw, it tips, and then it's just not convenient. Especially if you have a long vertical stack, you know, you have to like, it's just, yeah, never been suitable. So this is my second vise. I have a small Betsy, or like a really small one. And then I have a hydraulic posi lock vise, which I need to break out. That might be too cumbersome for this small garage. But yeah, a hydraulic vise, not many of those are around. But really like this vise, 8-inch, like I said. I bought these magnetic smooth jaw things, just so I don't mar up stuff. So it's like magnetic, it's a little magnetic strip on the back. And they just sit in here. They're pretty much the length of the original jaws. And they just sit in there. I use them for pretty much about anything, and then I've never really had to remove them. It has a swivel feature on like most vise. If I can unlock it without smashing my... Okay. There we go. I cranked it down. So it has it's like 100, and so it locks right there, and that's part of the install. But it swivels all the way back around. It's a 180-degree swivel. So that came into my design, or my installation. So basically, I got a Milwaukee mobile workstation stainless steel top, and it's a 40-inch. There you go, 40-inch. Really like this card, like I said. The only thing I've done to this card is like made additional swivel casters. Not made them, but bought extra swivel casters. And then when I was installing my Harbor Freight Icon, I had this hiccup where this trim piece right here, something fell. A pallet fell and just like marred it up really good. But it's a piece of angle aluminum, so you can't really get to it like that. So I've always been torn on how to mount this vise. This is the only logical surface that I've really had to mount it on, but the original top is a stainless steel top right here. And I really didn't want to drill into it and mount into it. Thought about how I was going to do it, and how I didn't want to drill into the box at all, like from the top or from the side. And so last night it came to me, how about I get a butcher block top? And this came as I want to say it was a 4 feet section or something, 6 foot section, I think. It might have been a 6-footer. Yeah, 25 inches wide. And then I got these angle irons. So it's 1.5 inches thick butcher block. And the Milwaukee tool chest here comes with a handle on one side, but it has the holes on both sides. And it's pretty much these accessory holes right here, these size. And it comes with 2 fastener to attach. It comes with 4 fasteners to attach the handle. So I just got some angle iron, angle iron, pre-drill, and then I just used some screws, some construction screws, put it in there, and then use the original fastener. I just lined up the original hole. It had like 3 original holes, as you can see. And one of the original hole fits perfectly and allowed it to like still fit without protruding above the top. And so I just got 4 of those, and I did it on the same thing. Like I said, you can remove the handle from this chest and put it on either side, so it has the mounting surfaces on either side. And so that's what I did. You can see it over here, it fits perfectly, and over there. So really, they're just preventing this thing from sliding left and right. And it's not going anywhere. And so mounting a vise, here's something to consider. I'm gonna regurgitate what someone else once said, because I once watched a video many years ago figuring out how I want to mount a vise. Basically, I mean, you want to think about your setup, right? So out of this whole setup, that's where I have the most space. Like, I got a drill press right there, and this door right here can stay closed. I can angle this stuff at a 45 and work from there, because this thing swivels, right? Or I can just take it to the 90. But one of the things you got to think about, you might think, well, I want to stay away from the edge. Well, what if you have a tall stock and you mount your vise so far back, it's hitting the top of the surface. So you want to mount it to where the inside jaw is protruding beyond the work surface, beyond the mounting surface, I guess. So as you can see, if I put that in there and clamp it down, which we'll clamp it down for a potato. Wrong direction. This might get a little bit challenging as I try to demonstrate. We'll come back to the clamp here. Apologize about the sun rays beaming through. So here's what I want to show. So I got this pretty much the trim piece, and you can see it has clearance from the surface all the way down, right, effectively to the floor. But that's about as close as I can get to the edge safely without potentially like cracking. I guess I could go like maybe a smidge more, but is it worth it? Probably not. So mounted this bad boy, and luckily I found some, actually these screws I had to like use some spade bits from the underside, so the head of the bolt is like recessed, and then I just threaded a nuts from top, just so it's not like rubbing on this surface. Because if I ever find a more convenient place to mount this than on top of my work table here, then that would be fine. But these bolts came as on the pallet that this whole lift was part of, and they fit perfectly in the hole, 3/4 inch bolts. And I just used my impact, ran them down, and went over it with a ratchet just to make sure it was snug. But all in all, it's a solid vise. And then when the car is in here, this is pretty much our walkway to the house, the entryway, right? So as you see, it kind of sticks in the way, right? But like I said, this thing swivels. So in its resting state, in its non-used state, I'll just have it sitting like this. And I'll tighten it down just so those kids don't come in here and swivel this thing out of place. And that's where it will live. Hopefully getting good usage. I do like the fact that they have these little rubber stoppers here, so this thing doesn't keep banging back and forth. And then we'll just leave that in the vertical, so it's just like that. Don't need to cinch it down. Butcher block top wasn't cheap, but you know, about 130 bucks for this vise when I bought it. I think they discontinued it, but it recommends like sealing the surface. I don't know. If I get to it, I get to it. I'm not immediately concerned. I don't know what the consequences of not sealing it immediately are. But one hurdle that I did run into, and I'm just gonna, this side is similar to the next side. So you got this rubber grommet right here, and your aluminum trim that just sits in there, right? Let's see if I can get it in there. It just slides in there. And then you have another one with these two little fasteners that pretty much goes around it, covers up that upper portion. It's kind of ugly. There you go. And you can see where that one would, the nut or screw right here would fit into this screw hole right here. But this one is slightly not, I mean, the angle iron is flat enough for it to go around it and still conform. But the problem is that screw hole right there. And it's the same thing on the opposite side. So I'm gonna mark it with a Sharpie, because this is the place it's gonna be. Mark both sides. I'm gonna take this one off. I'm gonna take both of them off, like the two on the front. And I'm gonna have to notch this out just to get this thing back on there. But I'm pretty tired, so that's gonna be another day's project, maybe tomorrow. But case in point, as a DIYer or anyone who's like reinventing a project or reinventing something, I can tell this thing is bent. As someone who's reinventing something, you're always gonna run into hurdles and you're gonna have to think about it. I'm glad I waited and didn't like drill into my stainless steel top, but every person needs a quality vise. I've seen one review about this that says it breaks or something, but I mean, you got this mantle. I think it's called a mantle. You can hammer on. But I mean, I'm not doing any crazy hammering. Maybe light hammering or something. But this thing was literally just sitting over there under my drill press. My drill press is right there. It was just sitting on the base of it, on the base of the drill press for the longest time. And like I said, it was just inconvenient to use it. Now, if I'm doing something and I need it third hand, you know, that is gonna be my go-to. And I like how it just stores out of the way. But aside from that, I don't know what other Vise mounting considerations there is. And I mean, I can use it over this side, you know. So I don't even have to store it that way. I want to store it over the tabletop to keep it from the door and to keep it out of the walkway. But really and truly, it can be used anywhere. You know, there, here, anywhere in between. And since this thing is on wheels, I can roll this thing anywhere. If I have a limitation of, I can roll this thing into the driveway if it was that serious, and I'll still have, you know, adequate surface. And then over here, I still have adequate work surface to work on, because between my hutch over there, which is kind of cluttered right now, and this, and maybe my cart here, which is slightly cluttered, and then this work tray. Those are the only work surfaces I have. But I'm super excited about this. I know someone asked me to do a review on the Posi-Lock vise. It's just in the storage, my storage shed, buried deep. I know where it's at. It's just haven't gotten to it yet, so I'll do a review on it. I have done a review on this vise, but this is effectively a review, I guess. Like I said, I don't know if I'll do anything to this tabletop, because if I do, then I'll have to take everything off, which it's not hard by any means. It's just a couple screws, and I can, put some whatever they call on here, some sealer, mineral oil or conditioner. But this is gonna be a worktop, so it can have some have its own little personality. I can see it starting to get dirty, so maybe it needs to be sealed to keep it clean or something. But anyway, super excited about this vise. Just gotta fix that trim piece by notching out that bracket. I might even paint the brackets. maybe paint it red or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'd have to buy some red spray paint to paint it, but it's not the end of the world. If I'm gonna do the top, then I'll do something with the brackets just to make it more uniform. Maybe black or something. Black brackets, yeah. Red would, I don't know. Black, I got black already, so maybe I'll just do black. And then it will match the bolt head, because this original screw head, yeah. I'll probably do black. And the black vise and the black outlets. Yeah, I might even spray these nuts black. I'm just getting carried away, thought process, but as of now, it's functional. I can start making work of it. We'll see what the first thing I had to hold with my newfound third hand is. But anyway, 16 minutes in. So DeWalt Vise. I always say like on a editing.